Nami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vatarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kratau Vande Bhagavando Punah Punah Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheta Vibhakine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Bukaro Anthakaro Vairukarastan Nivartakaha Anthakara Nirodhitvad Gururitya Vidhiyate Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Muthamate Samprapte Sannihite Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrin Karane Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Muthamate. Verse number 28. Sukhata kriyate Rama bhokaha Paschat hanta sharire rokaha Yadyapi loke maranam sharanam Tatapi na munjati papacharanam. Once more. Sukhata kriyate Rama bhokaha Paschat hanta sharire rokaha Yadyapi loke maranam sharanam Tadapi na munjati papacharanam. So, Shankara is again and again emphasizing the human error. Even though even the Lord Indra can come and teach what is right and what is wrong, what is to be done and what is to be avoided. Still, the human being will be tempted according to the vasanas, according to the samskaras, according to the impressions, according to the craving of the mind, which is an unfavorable desire. 1 minute, I will lock the door. It's making some sound. 1 minute. So, Lord Adi Shankara, our teacher of this Prakaranam, he is emphasizing human being can get diverted any time from the spiritual pursuit, even at the tip of listening. Even in full measure of listening what is right, a person may get diverted in the flow of life. So he is giving this shlokan as a warning. Only 4 slokas to the end of this Prakaranam, Bhaja Govindam, so that he is emphasizing a person should retrieve from doing the samsaric actions, or one should stop to live in the pleasure of samsara. You know, A water buffalo is always want to get inside the water, whether it is a slush, whether it is a mud pond, whatever it may be. The vasana, the impressions of a water buffalo is just to go inside the water and stay there for a length of time. We know that. Erumai. See, when it go down to the water and keep the side outside the water, there will be a lot of small insects which are biting this buffalo. It's an impure water, as we know that buffalo will not search for a pure water to have a dip. It just go wherever it see a mud or slush or contaminated water, whatever it may be. It just go and get into have a dip and it stay back. Why? You know, the water buffaloes outside outside the skin is so much thick and it feel very hot related to the climate. The outside climate will be so much giving an unfavorable situation for that. So you just have want a cold water and just have a dip for a length of time. Even though going inside this contaminated water and having some bite and itches of certain insects like leeches, some other insects which are ready to have some blood from the body of the buffalo, these are all actually annoying for an ordinary person. For a buffalo, going inside the water is the happiest thing in the world. Similarly, samsara is filled with a lot of suffering and pain. Each and every name and form, so-called objects of samsara, an attractive thing, what we say in our standpoint. It can be anything, a car, a new dress, a beautiful woman, a good amount of alcohol. Anything what we see in our life is a subject of happiness, a pleasure it can give. Those things are actually filled with so much pain and suffering in the life. But even though we listen intellectually, understand intellectually, we got the logic from the traditional teacher, anything from the external world can give you suffering and pain. Whatever seems to be attractive, there is no such attraction for that. It is actually packed with a lot of sufferings and pain. This is the reality. That is why they want to generate some vairagya in the mind of the person who is listening towards this spiritual book. So Shankara wants to point again and again, the contact of the senses and the object can only generate certain sufferings and tremendous pain in one's individual life. So he is again and again talking about the individual entering into a tragedy after getting contact with an object and the senses. What will happen for an individual normally after getting contact of the senses and the object? The same thing is echoed by Lord Krishna in the 5th chapter. Yehi samsparshaja bhogaha dukkhayonaya evate. Adyanta vandau kaunteya nateshu ramate bhutaha. Any pleasure born out of senses and the objects come into contact. Any pleasure. Dukkhayonaya evate. They are all the source of unhappiness. Dukkha yoni. Yoni means a source. Dukkha means unhappiness, pain. So anything comes into your life and you assume that it will make me happy in my life, and I accomplish that thing in my life, and I enjoy that thing that with my senses, and certain amount of external pleasure is being generated as though it is not giving any pleasure, but instead of giving the pleasure, we are just lacking our health, and also we are just lacking our real happiness. This is being pointed out in this verse also. What Lord Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 28th sloka, I think. If not, you have to check the number of the shloka. Here also it is 28, that's why. So, Sukhatha kriyate bhogaramaha. For the sake of happiness, Sukhataha, Panchamyaha Tasil. Panini says Taha is in the sense of due to, out of. The same Takara is added to Sukha, Sukhataha. For the sake of happiness, due to recover the happiness, due to get some happiness, Kriyate, get into contact, one will get indulged in Bhoga Aramaha, the pleasure. Any pleasure, in order to generate, you should have senses completely. If one sense is weak, for example, your eyes are weak, you are not supposed to watch TV for a length of time, or you are not supposed to watch your mobile screen for a length of time. Lot of radiation is going on, and it will again destroy the retina or the other cells of the eyes. That's why mobile phone are not told or advised to use for a person who is already having some issues related to eyes, or somebody who have some stomach trouble. They will be restricted not to have spicy food or some other oily food, etc., etc. Why? I want to come to the logic. The point is, one should be ready with the senses in order to enjoy the worldly things. If this rule is ready, if the conditions are met, what are the conditions? One should have the senses in full measure. The object should be around you. It should be right in front of you, or it should be in your realm. And you have the capacity to gain that, and you have the capacity to enjoy that. All these conditions are met. Then it seems to be generating some pleasure in your mind, what we call external pleasure. Here, Shankara is not discussing about external pleasure. He just pointing out the fallacies of the human being, that mistaking that external things can give certain amount of happiness in my life. This mistaken logic is being cleared. What is that? Out of happiness, or for the sake of happiness, one get connected with the external things. In order to enjoy the external things, your senses are involved completely. It will draw energy in order to enjoy the external things. If you eat a food, in order to digest, these internal organs should work over time. If we eat certain amount of good food, and in the process they get weakened, we know that. That is called growing, metamorphosis. Whenever the body is working to digest the food, it is going through the process called metamorphosis, or whatever it may be, the growth of the body. The same time, the senses and the internal organs are getting weakened. More and more you enjoy, the senses will get weakened more and more. It will go in ratio. The more you enjoy, the more they will get decayed or destroyed. The senses are subject to weaken. That is what he told here in the second line. After enjoying the external objects, whatever it may be, that's why an alcoholic will be getting a disease which will not be able to recover anymore to the normal life. A disease which will completely make him to lay down in the earth. He cannot stand up anymore because an alcohol have certain reaction inside our body. Our internal organs are not ready to digest heavy acids. Alcoholic, one of the acids which is not needed as a material for our body. Of course, some other things also not needed for our body, which we consume daily in our life. Anyway, here Shankara points out internal organs get decayed or internal organs get destroyed in the process of enjoying the material objects, and one will get sick. One will be falling as a prey for the diseases. Cancer is not an overnight result. We know that. Consuming certain food which are not supposed to be consumed by one body, regularly consuming restricted food, some materials, of course, for example, I'm giving Maggi have a material called lead. Lead is not needed for our body. For the fluffiness of the Maggi, they add certain amount of lead inside the Maggi. So that when we put the Maggi in the water, that Maggi which is rigid will become fluffy, which will be very smooth, which will be like a thread. Why? Due to the presence of the lead, which is a material which is not used for the body. Similarly, we consume different things through the food, and after a period of time, these unwanted things which are oxidants are accumulated in the body, which will make a trouble or end up in a serious disease. So disease is not an overnight result of a body. Continuously consuming unwanted things in my life due to the taste of the tongue, due to the accumulation of oxidants which are not needed, which are poison, then it will end up in disease. Shankara gave a direct example. After enjoying the external happiness, a person will be running out of the energy of the senses. The senses are no more working in the proper condition. Panchendriya, Jnanendriyam, Karmendriyam, Vagindriyam, Shrotrendriyam, Nayanendriyam, senses of listening will fall apart due to listening over sound of vehicles, music, etc., etc. Sense of vision will fall apart due to overload of looking towards the computer, looking towards night work, night shift, etc., etc. Eating different types of unwanted things, the tongue will fall apart. It will be no more capable of taking certain foods. Similarly, all our Jnanendriyani will fall apart. Then we are no more a person who can enjoy worldly things. Why? Diseases have made their feet in my body. Now they have the upper hand. I don't have the courage, or I don't have the way to overcome the diseases. Why? That much I enjoyed and that much they entered in my body. Now diseases are driving my life. That is what been told. Paschad hantaha sharire rogaha. The body get certain diseases due to my irregularities in my eating, irregularities in my actions, irregularities in my thinking. An improper thinking will also attract certain diseases. That is why stress, frustration, etc., are also the cause of certain diseases. For that, one need to study continuously the spirituality. This is the ultimate solution. Atyanda dukkha nivritti is rewarded. Ultimate happiness, which will cease the sorrow from my life. Atyandika dukkha nivritti. That is the result, one result of spirituality. Without owning any external thing. Nirapeksha bahya sadhanani. There is no dependency. You can accumulate an external thing. You may be free from an external thing. You don't have a car, still you are completely happy. That is the result of spirituality. And Shankara says that after enjoying the worldly things, one will fall prey for the diseases. Sharire roga. Yadyapi loke maranam sharanam. In this world, the death being the ultimate end of all the bodies. This is a reality for me and you, for your desirable things and for my desirable things. Maranam is the ultimate end. Sharanam. The source, there is no other way of going out. The ultimate end. There is no U-turn. There is no reverse. There is no straight going. You just stuck there. Maranam, Sharanam, even though the body is subject to death, even though people don't give up. Papa Charanam. Acharanam. Daily contact. Papa Charanam. Indulged in doing what is not proper. Papam. An improper action which can attract an improper result, an undesirable result. Yadyapi loke maranam sharanam, even though death being the end of each and every living being in this world, which is a reality which can be thought by a human being. Human being is the only living being who can see far beyond the nose, who can think far beyond the nose. A human being is the only living being who think and proceed. Without thinking and proceeding is meant for other living beings. Human being is the only living being, before he do certain action, he think twice. We need to work on this faculty. Don't do anything immediately when a thought comes in your mind. You have to rethink, you have to you have to chew that thought. Should I do or not? If I do, what will be the consequences? What will it will end up if I do this? Like when you play chess, you have to think 8 or 9 steps further. If I keep this pony right in front of this, he will play like this. Then I should play like this. Then he will play like this. Then I should play like this. Like this, you need to plan and think and plan and think, and last you play. Similarly, human being is the only living being, even though to plan, think, and proceed in their life, people are not planning to reach the ultimate goal. People are not ready to reach the ultimate goal. People are going behind the sensual pleasures, material pleasures. Why? They want a certain amount of temporary happiness. Any material object can give you temporary happiness for an amount of, for a particular time period. Anything. People don't have idea about the permanent happiness, eternal happiness. People are ready to get what I will get now immediately. It is a temporary happiness. Okay, I will take. That is why instant coffee is available. Filter coffee is the best coffee what we take in our life, even though when it is not available, I take instant coffee. It will give a certain taste of the filter coffee, but it's not a filter coffee at all. We know that. But we are interested instantly, we can have that filter coffee taste. Really speaking, people are always busy with the different actions in the material world. They don't have time to make food with a lot of preparatory steps, with a lot of different ingredients, with a lot of different conditions of the food. They just want immediately what we can make and eat. It should be a little bit tasty. Similarly, people having this mentality of getting immediately something, they are behind immediate happiness, which is temporary. For the temporary happiness, I will get indulged in material things which may be improper in my life. Here Shankara says that even though people are informed about the goal, even though people are informed that their senses, their organs get destroyed after enjoying the material things, and they are no more capable of listening to Vedanta or no more capable of listening the reality, when they are succumbed for the diseases, there is no more coming back. Nobody will be there to teach you when you are lying in the bed. Your mind will not be available to listen what is the teaching. On that time, even Indra can come and teach you, but your mind is not available due to the disease. Disease will take away the mind. You cannot get a concentration. Even a small wound in the hand will take away all kind of concentration to listen anything seriously. So Shankara says that may one be ready to give up the material pleasures and be focused on the real thing, what we call human goal. If not, one may get into diseases. There is no coming back, and that disease will end up in death. After knowing all this information in their life, still most of them will be enjoying the papa charanam, enjoying the improper actions in their life. For the sake of small amount of happiness, we do big mistakes in my life. Because I am not informed by the traditional guru that what is the biggest loss when we do certain unwanted action in your life. Human being birth is a very special life. And that special life to meet a guru and listen to the Vedanta or the ultimate goal is another special way of life. We miss all these things and we get involved in different material pleasures. And at last, my body is no more capable of listening to the Vedanta or Guru. I don't have the complete concentration to focus on what he says. At last, I will succumb to death. Still, knowing all these things, people are ready to do improper actions and receive Baba. This is the meaning of the 28th shloka. We will go to the 29th shloka. I will read and I will give the meaning. Arthamanartham bhavaya nityam nasti tata sukalesha satyam putrata bidana bhajam bidihi sarvatraisha vihitaritihi. Again, once more I will read. Arthamanartham bhavaya nityam nasti tata sukhalesha satyam putrata bidana bhajam bidihi sarvatraisha vihitaritihi. I will tell the meaning. Same. He wants to generate a certain amount of vairagyam in the person's mind. A spiritual seeker should endowed with an amount of vairagyam. Then only the knowledge can grow there. Vairagyam is the fertilizer for the growth of knowledge. If we don't have much vairagyam, the knowledge will stay underneath in order to sprout. So, getting vairagyam is very, very important, and he emphasized again and again. There is another human error, which is universal. The more we have money, the more we have happiness. An unwanted logic is sitting inside every human being's mind. More I have money, more I have happiness. That is why over duty, overnight work, everything they do for the sake of money, accumulating money in their own life. Because money can buy everything in the world. We have this a logic sitting in everybody's mind. In the material world, partially this logic is true because it is a proven factor. The more money one has, the more they spend to buy expensive car, expensive house, expensive clothes, expensive perfumes, expensive groceries, etc. Everything will be number one. One of the best things in the universe or in the world which is available, they go for it. Like the British Queen wear Kohinoor jewel in their gown, Similarly, a gown which is made of different jewelries, it is worth more than 200 crores, something like that. A gown is there for them, The more you have wealth in your life, more you can buy external things from the world, so that what will happen, more you can be happy. Really speaking, there is no happiness, there is only ego satisfaction. I am this body and my body have these and these things in order to enjoy. This thought is called ego satisfaction. Ahankara tripti. It's not happiness. People have mistaken this ahankara tripti into happiness. We don't need that much things in order to make me happy. This is the truth. When we enter into the spirituality and go further and further through the teacher's words and teachings, we comes to know that our old rishis, our Munivar, the Sadhavaha, sadhus, has enjoyed the ultimate happiness by giving up everything. Tyage naike amrtatvamanashuhu. By giving up everything from inside, there is no unwanted pressure or craving towards the material thing. They've given up everything internally. They don't have any extra pressure inside. I want this, I want that, I will buy that, because, and they say, by giving up everything only, one can enjoy the immortality. Tyage na ege. Amrtatvam, immortality is being enjoyed. It is not that the money which is temporary coming into our life and it will stay for temporary. And when you give up your body in this world, money will be owned by some other people. Each and everybody have this experience. Some people only want to look their money which resembles the train's wheel. That much zero will be there for their money they have having in their bank. They are happy, very, very, very happy just looking this much amount I have in my bank. Just security. That money can give me name, sammanam, a famous name, some power, some prestige issue. That's all. So money can help me to give some ego satisfaction. I have some ego satisfaction. If I have certain amount of money, a good TV I have, a good house I have, a good car I have, my body can go smoothly in this world. But everything we will give up when the body all in the world by giving up this individual soul. We have to give up everything. Everything is temporary. We know that. But people take in a misunderstood way that money can buy happiness. That's not true. You can buy the expensive bed. You can buy the most expensive coat, but you cannot buy the sleep. You get the sleep while you are listening to Vedanta sometimes. You know why? The mind is just calm and relaxed. That is also a result of Vedantic teaching, Why? My mind is getting so much relaxed while listening to certain things. It's okay. When you do certain things in your life, you will become restless. When you listen to Vedanta, the mind is totally coming down without doing anything. But when you go to sleep at night, you will be lack of sleeping. You will be having lack of sleeping. Only you can buy good things in the world, like a good bed, good bed sheet, good AC. Everything will be expensive, but the sleep will not come. Sleep is something related to one's own actions. What actions you do in your life, that will decide how much sleep you will come today. If you have something good things in your life, sleep will come without asking to you. If you have done something wrong in your life, sleep will be away from you. Dhritarashtra asked Vidura in Mahabharata, I am not getting sleep for last several years. My brother Vidura, can you give me what reason? Because I am not having sleep. Then in the Vidura Niti, there is a collection of Vidura's advice towards Dhritarashtra. That is called Vidura Niti. A book which talks about the worldly justice and way of having proper living. For the proper living lifestyle, what one should do. That's called Vidura Niti. The first verse says that there are 4 things in your life which you cannot do. If you do this in your life, there will be lack of sleeping. And Dhritarashtra has done all these 4 things. I'm not entering to that. So, you cannot buy sleep because you have money. Money can't buy sleep. Money can't buy any happiness. Money can buy material things. That material thing itself becomes a burden after a period of life. Or a material thing which you bought with the money itself become a source of sorrow. You bought a new TV. Immediately after buying that TV, you are seeing the TV and there is a heavy rainfall with a thunderstorm and lightning, etc., etc. There, you in your house, you got a short circuit and the TV got certain defect. The TV which you bought for the sake of happiness became the source of unhappiness immediately. So there is no guarantee in any material things which you collect externally that can give you always happiness in your life. It can be a girlfriend, it can be a boyfriend, it can be a maternal life, it can be your son, it can be your daughter, it can be your TV, it can be your car, it can be anything. You can extend for anything. There is no guarantee of happiness in any external thing. This is the truth Shankara wants to convey through this slogan, and he wants to generate certain amount of vairagyam towards the material thing. Artham anartham bhavaya nityam. Every time, even you are enjoying this world, whenever you are having an amount of good amount in your life, every time, satatam, always, nityam, bhavaya, may you think of, may you have the capacity to fall back for the mind that what? Artham is anartham. Anartham means that brings tragedy. That brings disasters in your life. That brings unhappiness in your life is called anartham. Artham, money. Any material thing, anything you can say for the artham. Artham, if you think money is the ultimate goal in my life, then you have to fall back again and again with the help of traditional teachings. May one again and again think that money and the material things can only end up in tragedy, can only bring some disaster, can only bring certain amount of unhappiness. Bhavaya nityam. Satatam, always you think that. And also the reality is nasti tataha. Out of contact of sense organs and the material things, nasti, there is no even a speck of happiness. Sukhalesha, even a small amount of happiness, if you search inside that, any material thing, there is no a speck of happiness in the material thing. It seems to be happy because we don't know the real happiness. As long as we are missing the obvious, we are missing our individual self, we feel that external things are giving certain amount of happiness in my life. A good house, a good oven, a good kitchen, a good TV, a good car, that brings certain amount of happiness in my life. For the time being, as long as we don't know what is the real source of ultimate happiness. Once you know the real source of ultimate happiness, you see that external things are only names and forms which are loaded with unhappiness. That is been told by the second verse. Nasti, there is no sukhaleshaha, even a small amount of happiness in the contact of the senses and the material things. This is the reality, Satyam. And he say, I don't go along with this logic, but he says that Putra Dabidana Bhajam Vidhi. Sometimes a father may be fear of his son due to what? Due to the insecurity of grabbing the money by him. The son can grab his money which is in his bank account. But when you are no more strength to face off your son, you are laying down in the bed, you are no more strength, not having the strength to go to bank or sign the check leaf or put the ATM card in the ATM machine and withdraw the money, you will give the in charge for your nearest and dearest people. Son is my dearest person to deal with all these things. Even laying in the bed, you think that I have earned all this money, sweating in my life, hard working in my life. I have acquired this much amount of money in my life because investing my time, investing my energy, investing my all things, giving up certain times my food, going on without having food, I accomplished this much money and I put in my bank. I am laying down right now because I don't have enough strength to stand up and go to bank and withdraw the money from the ATM, etc., etc. Everybody will reach this type of condition in their life at last. That time, a thought which is inevitable for everybody, he says that he may think even my son can grab my money. That money which I accomplished with a lot of investments like energy, time, food, etc., etc. That money which I have accumulated with lots and lots of hard work can be grabbed by my son. That fear, that insecurity can feel even at the last moment. And this fear is universal everywhere. In the fourth line, he says that Sarvatra Esha Vihita Ritihi. What you have accumulated in this world, investing lot of energy, investing lot of time, investing your strength, everything, and you accomplish certain things, and you are no more having the strength to enjoy this world or that thing, and some may be enjoying what you have accomplished in your life. You will get that insecure thought like this. My brother, my friend, my boy is enjoying all these things, and he may grab my money and he may grab my things. What I have accomplished in my life with a lot of hard work and effort. I don't go with this Shankara statement because even though nowadays people who are living in isolated family may have the insecurity from their daughters and son, etc., etc. This is true. But most of the universal experience that son and daughters used to help their father and mothers at the last time. Very odd incidents, like, some people get settled in USA, keeping their father and mother in their country where they are born and brought up. And they are no more interested to take care of their father because they have already an individual family. They go along with this individual family. Those type of people are there in this world, even though most of the family members, like son and daughters, used to take care of their father and mother. But Shankara gives an example. For me, it is unfit. But as the commentary, as the words running on, I have to tell this example also. Shankara says that even from the daughter or the son, a person may feel insecurity of the money which they have accomplished in their life. And this is universal. This insecurity is universal. What is the moral is very much essential to be studied. What he wants to convey is, whatever you accomplish in your life here, we have to drop when the time of departure comes. Whether it is money, whether it is home, whether it is family members, whether it is your expensive TV, whether it is your expensive car, everything you have to drop. But there are certain things in your life which you need not to drop. You can carry along with you, and which will be benefit for your life. He wants to convey that meaning, that may your focus change from the impermanent things towards the permanent thing to achieve. Moksha and the studies, traditional teachings, human being should focus their accomplishments not from the impermanent things towards the permanent things. This is the moral he wants to convey. Those things you will carry along with your mind. Whatever you have studied under a traditional teacher will be the guiding factor of the next birth, or there is no next birth. If you have certain amount of information regarding the tradition, about the moksha, about the vairagya, about the world, that things you will carry along with you at the time of departure. All other things which are external, you have to leave here. Nothing will come along with you. The soul will depart, individual soul. I want to say like this, even though I don't like this statement. When you depart from the body, if you are a liberated soul, there is no birth at all. Because human being birth is the only birth which can receive the moksha. And you have put effort to receive the moksha. And you are behind the moksha. And you get liberated once you listen to the Vedanta Shastra from the traditional teacher. Those things are going to accompany with you at the time of departure, which are permanent in your life, which is eternal in your life. Those values and those properties that cannot be stolen by the thief. It is not been robbed by any thief. But all other things are the source of insecurity. That is what is being conveyed here. We need only moral. May the human being who are concentrated and focusing on material pleasures and impermanent things, for them, I want them. These things will bring more and more insecure when you get aged, when you are lying on the bed. May you focus right now itself towards the ultimate source of happiness, which is the only truth in this world, which is the internal soul or individual self or Brahman. May one focus to the eternal thing in their life, giving up the notion, by giving up the notion of getting some security from the impermanent things. There is no security from the impermanent material things. The only security you can get is only from the traditional teachings, what we call moksha. And this will bring you certain amount of security. It will make you a cheerful face even towards the death. That is what his message through this shloka. Now we will go to the next shloka. I will read that shloka and I will stop. And the next class will be our last class, completing the 2 slogans according to our schedule. Just I will read the next shloka and we will conclude this session. Pranayamam pratyaharam nitya viveka vicharam japya sameta samadhi vidanam kurvavadanam mahadavadanam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate Samprapte Sannihite Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrin Karane Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate